Everybody, we are back. It is Taped on Live. It's your favorite podcast, favorite channel, favorite everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at mholder95 for Matt. Also BD Williams at BD Williams 18, and make sure you Panda Supplements, TDL, discount code 35% off. Go there, pandasubs.com. They're sponsoring us. Check that out. Make sure you guys go there. Raider Nation. All right. Matt, we're talking about the offense, free agency offensive review. Get a little draft break, this week with the free agency. I'm definitely getting right back in the draft. I've actually been watching linebackers all weekend. Hasn't been that exciting, actually, but
that's the linebacker class for you.
That's the linebacker class, but we're talking about free agency. We just stick with offense today. There hasn't been that many offensive additions, but there is some couple big ones. Of course, Jimmy Garoppolo is the biggest one, and then of course Jakobi Meyers. But also we want to talk about the first thing is the Darren Waller trade. So we had the Darren Waller trade happen. He was traded for a third round pick.
Third round, yep. Pick 100, right? Exactly. 100 right on the dot, if I remember correctly.
Pick 100, right? So a third round pick sent Darren Waller over to the New York Giants, right? I thought it was interesting, the reaction to it. I mean, I felt like it was just like there's like a negative reaction to Darren Waller. I just thought it was weird. I don't know. He just was really good. I feel like there's a better reaction for Clelin Ferrell leaving than there was Darren Waller. And I don't know how. I mean, was it because Clelin Ferrell got a tattoo of the Raiders? Is that why? Like, it's just, just maybe production-wise.
Maybe if Waller on one of his new ones on the side of his head just got the Raiders logo, people would feel different or something. I don't know.
Guess so. But it was just weird. They both came in to the Raiders at the same time, really. 2019. I guess Darren Waller came a little earlier. But, he became a starter in 2019. Clelin Ferrell came in 2019. They had the same kind of, linked on the team. And Ferrell, man, I mean, he did a tribute to the team. It was just, we miss you, Clee. It's
yeah. Well, from the sounds of it doesn't
for Clelin Ferrell.
Yeah, from the sounds of it, I mean, Clee feels like he knew he was kind of the writing was on the wall and knew he was on the way out. Yeah. I think Darren Waller said he was caught off guard by the trade, so I don't think he knew he was coming, so he knew he was going, so he didn't have anything to prepare. So.
Yeah, that's true. That is a good point. But just kind of the whole deal of the trade, like the Michael Lombardi report. It's interesting. One regime says he works hard, the next one doesn't. Who do you believe? That's kind of how I look at it. But it's just all interesting how that kind of moved, to him, leaving. But I just think that they really didn't have an idea how to use him. Like, he's not the greatest blocker in the world. I get it. Right. But I just feel like he's just such a freak. And even the 49ers game, right, kind of highlighted how the Niners had no answer for him at all. And Jarrett Stidham was able to be comfortable back there and throw some good throws because he was wide open and he's, running past some safeties. So, I don't know. You just wish they figured it out and had some kind of game plan there. So,
yeah, I mean, I know when when he got traded, obviously, like, I had the same reaction of like the fandom just because I liked him. I've talked with him a couple times and super good dude.
Yeah.
And I kind of get it in the sense of like the guy was banged up. Like the guy missed 10 games in the last 2 years and he's about to turn 30. Like I think it kind of been signaling that for a while. My issue is now you have the tight ends left on your roster are Jesper Horsted and Cole Fotheringham. So while they got the pick for Darren Waller, it's a net zero, seeing as now they really need a tight end and they don't have one. And we know how much McDaniels loves to use 12, 22 personnel, two tight end sets and all that stuff. So, and like you said, I mean, felt like Darren Waller, like, granted, got to stay healthy, which has been an issue for the last 2 years. But when he is, like, he's hard to stop. He's a huge weapon that you can have on your offense. And I mean, I don't know. I felt like his blocking was at least better with Gruden around. I know this past year was pretty rad. Maybe the injuries played a factor into that, but
yeah,
it seemed to me like his blocking wasn't as big of an issue in Gruden's offense. I don't know. Maybe I read that wrong, but
yeah, it was. Yeah, his blocking was fine. Like, is it great? No,
right.
It's not. It's not great blocking, right? But I don't see the difference between him and Foster Moreau. That was my thing. Like, I don't know why they thought Foster Moreau could block and he couldn't. That was,
Yeah.
I didn't know what that was about. Maybe, Foster Moreau is more of a willing blocker than Darren Waller, maybe. But it's just hard to replace that dude running a 4.4, 245 pounds, and just streaking
you're
down
right.
the field.
He's got such a unique skill set that it's like you're gonna be hard pressed to find another guy. I mean, but I guess that's the way they want to go. And I don't know. Maybe the next Darren Waller is Jesper Horsted, convert a wide receiver who was super productive in college. I guess Darren Waller wasn't that productive, but Horsted, a guy at Princeton, balled out, was like setting FCS records as a wide receiver. Maybe a couple years, and now he's learned how to block, and he can take it over. Maybe they saw something we don't.
Yeah, man, but the writing was on the wall for me too. And that's what I'm saying. The blocking thing, they were just eating into his snaps really early for me. It just started really early. I was like, man, Foster Moreau's on the field a lot. Man, he's really running this the smash route, right? He's running the smash concept with Foster Moreau, and he's getting a catch on the sideline for 14 yards. Interesting. Darren Waller's not in the game. It was just kind of. It was going to happen, man. I don't know why they didn't do it earlier if they didn't like him. They should have did it from the jump. I mean, they got offered a second-round pick by Green Bay at the trade deadline. Didn't take it. That's just crazy to me. Like, especially if you don't like him. If you're like, oh, he doesn't fit our offense, and you get a second-round pick, like Packers fans, they still might have Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
So,
and to me too, it's like if it like validates that like last year they had no plan. Like, you know what I mean? They're gonna extend Darren Waller and then trade him next year. They're gonna extend Derek Carr and then cut him the next year. Like, they're just doing this by the seat of their pants. It feels like it just feels like they have no plan. Like, we're talking about, oh, he's not a great fit in the offense. Then why did you make him the highest paid tight end in the NFL last offseason? And why'd you give him a contract extension? You know what I mean? Like, you'd think if like that was your feeling about it, and I know there was contract negotiations, trade him then. Like, why are you why do they keep doing this? Like, where they're like extending guys and then a year later dumping them when the first opportunity they can. That's
the Giants might have given a first-round pick last year, bro. Call the Giants last year. If they wanted him, they might have given a first-round pick last year for sure. Something crazy. Go ahead.
I was going to say at the beginning of the year, I don't even think the Giants thought they were going to be in contention. So I don't know. Maybe not. But now it could be different. I mean, it's funny. Like, someone DM me that like covers the Giants. They're like, "What can you say about like Darren Waller?" I'm like, he's kind of like a better version of Evan Ingram, in a certain extent. Like, probably a little bit better blocker and better hands for sure. But that guy that can run up the seam and be a mismatch and matchup nightmare for safeties and linebackers.
Yeah, and just to me, it's just like that when he came back from injury, he just looked so good. So it's just funny, like the whole rehab thing. Like, he was supposed to be good rehab. I mean, I don't know what he was doing, but he looked incredible when he came back. I mean, to the Niners game, he was dominating. Even the Chiefs game, he had a pretty damn good game. He scored a touchdown, against the Patriots and against the Niners. So it wasn't just him just being a bum out there when he came back. I mean, he was pretty dominant when he came back too. So that was the thing. Like, but if they had no plan for him and they didn't have anything, you trade him at the trade deadline and get the second-round pick. And, just keep it moving. It is what it is. If they don't like them, they don't like them. They're the coaches. I mean, it is what it is,
Yeah. I guess we got to figure out what tight end they're going to take in the third round now, or maybe 7 overall.
Yeah. don't do it, bro.
I can't do that yet. Not yet.
Oh man, yeah. We're it's we'll get into that later. We'll get into the tight ends later because obviously they got to draft a tight end now. I mean, we'll get into all that semantics around tight ends and how many yards they usually get as a rookie. But yeah, just plugging in a tight end seems easy, right? Because Kyle Pitts got 900 yards, but that's like one of the most rarest things that you'll see is a rookie tight end get 900 yards. So it's going to be.
It seems easy because the guy that went the highest drafted player at the position in NFL history did it. Exactly, like, that's the way you put it. The guy that we were talking about maybe playing an X receiver to potentially increase his draft.
He was wide receiver one of that draft, I think, man. I mean, it was him and Chase, man. They were battling for wide receiver.
Yeah, and Chase went 5th. That's right. And he went 4th. Chase went 5th.
All right. So before we get into this tape, we're doing Myers and Jimmy Garoppolo today. So we're going to get me and Matt. We're going to break down Jakobi Meyers and do some Jimmy G deep dive. But first, we're going to talk about some of these other signings. We got Jermaine Eluemunor coming back, right? And Brandon
Good
Parker.
deal.
So there's going to be a battle, Matt. I feel like they're going to battle. I know a lot of fans. I know what he tweeted. I know he put a tweet out there that he's going to be the best tandem with Colton Miller. But I just, that those 35-inch arms, and he was going to be the starter last year. It seemed that way, and they signed him first.
I'm not doing this.
They signed him first.
I'm not
let's
falling for Brandon Parker hype.
I'm not giving any hype to Brandon Parker. Trust me. I just know that obviously they have some kind of affinity with Brandon Parker, man. They got some kind of
which is beyond me. Like every other guy from the old regime that's like even just like service. I mean, they traded Darren Waller for Christ's sake, but for whatever reason they're in love with Brandon Parker. Like he must have something over Mark Davis. Like why are we doing this again? Like we've seen this guy play. He's not good. Like he didn't play. Like I understand he didn't play last year, but that was your blessing. That was the opportunity you got. You found out Jermaine Eluemunor can hold his own at right tackle. Why bring Brandon? I mean, I guess it's cheap and whatever. Like if he gets cut, he gets cut. But we're talking about Alex Leatherwood starting over him. Alex Leatherwood did start over him for a little bit.
See, that's the thing. The thing with the Brandon Parker thing, man, is, I see him in person. I get it. I see him in person. He's super impressive looking. When I went to training camp, that dude was just huge. I get it. It's just when we start, the game starts and we're not in shorts and pads, it's just not the same, right? Shorts and pads, man, he looks terrific. Like he's out there in training camp just looking huge with big old long arms. But the game starts, he's getting, Trayvon Walker looks like he should be the first round overall pick.
And Trayvon Walker did not look like that. Was Trayvon Walker's best game of the year, was the Hall of Fame game.
Versus Brandon Parker, and I don't know. I hope Eluemunor wins that battle. It's just like Albert Breer, the way Albert Breer was talking about Brandon Parker when he got hurt, like it was such a big deal. Like they lost a big key to their offensive line, and then they signed him back so quickly. I think Eluemunor's tweet was a little. I think he's getting a little ahead of himself, man. You got a big battle in front of you that you don't know about. You got a battle, man. It might not be the easiest battle for you. You know what I mean? Like you're just not as impressive looking in shorts and pads at training camp as him. So we'll see.
The other thing I don't get though is Thayer Munford looked great for a 7th round pick last year. Like, are they just trying to like make a bigger competition, or are they trying to move Eluemunor back to guard? Like, is that like the plan? Like, they just really didn't like Eluemunor that much at tackle, so they're gonna have Parker and Munford battle it out for the right tackle spot and move Eluemunor to guard and get Alex Bars out there, which can't say I'm terribly disappointed about. If that is the idea, is if they can get Munford and Eluemunor to start on the right side there, excuse me. Mm-hmm. But like that's the other thing I don't understand is like, not only does like you have somebody else that was better than Brandon Parker, but you also have the young project that is behind kind of like the tackle and waiting. Like, why not just give him the reps? Like every rep that Brandon Parker takes in training camp is a rep that's taken away from Thayer Munford, who needs it more. Like Thayer Munford has a higher ceiling than Brandon Parker does at this
and
point.
He's just as big. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. That's why I think Brandon Parker has that kind of edge over Eluemunor, because they like those huge tackles. I mean, Trent Brown, Nate Solder, they like those big tackles, right? And, Eluemunor is just really not that kind of fit. They might see him as a guard, which I don't think Eluemunor plays guard as well as he plays right tackle, which is, you watch the film, it's just two totally different things for him, right? The play strength kind of ties into it because you got to be a lot stronger against defensive tackles. It's just not there, right? So if they plan on playing him a guard, that's dangerous. That's what I'm saying. They're putting Brandon Parker and Eluemunor at guard. That's not a good idea either, in my opinion. But we'll see what they do with the offensive line. I mean, maybe Natan Moody, man. Broncos fans really liked him when he left. We'll see how that goes. Maybe he ends up being pretty good. They brought back Grasu as well to back up Andre James, who is getting paid $7 million, which I think is crazy. I don't understand why we're paying him that much. We're paying him starting center, buddy.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna like restructure his contract or cut him. Like I thought that was like the foregone conclusion going into free agency. Maybe that wasn't like a bad report, or I'm just remembering it incorrectly. But yeah, I've been surprised that there's been like literally no news on Andre James. I thought like something was going to happen. But
he is your starting center. That's what's happening, unless they draft somebody. Because they might draft a lineman at 7. That is there. I talked about that, on Twitter the other day or today. Skoronski is just lurking, that guard. Yeah. When he does the power and stuff like that, and that's kind of where he fits, is those down blocks, Skoronski, and I think that's probably where he fits best. But I mean, at 7, it's just kind of rich, it's just a guard at 7. Even if he goes all pro, it's just like, oh, guard.
I think I said it last time I was on here. It's getting socks on Christmas when you wanted an Xbox.
Exactly. Effective socks, great socks, but some socks, man.
But that would be fitting for this offseason to get our hopes up that they're going to get like a playmaker, even maybe a quarterback of the future, and then they end up with a guard at 7, which probably be a fine player, but it's just like, man, what the letdown for what this what we all anticipated this offseason being, and just hasn't played out. But we'll see that. I don't want to be too negative right now. We're being haters there, Marcus.
I mean, but we'll get positive. We'll get some Jakobi Meyers is positive. Jakobi Meyers is a positive.
We'll save the best for last.
Yeah, this is a positive film there. Anything else happened? Nothing that are tidbits for offense. We want to keep it offense. We're gonna get into defense later on. We kind of split this up and getting some Marcus Epps, who is got an interesting reaction from Raider Nation as well. But we'll get into that later. But nothing really. Phillip Dorsett, right? I mean, that's kind of the other one.
Yeah, your 30-year-old speed receiver.
But I mean, they met with Marvin Mims. They had a visit with Marvin Mims. He's basically the same guy. So
how tall is Mims? Is Mims a little guy too?
I think he's 5'9", 1.
Oh, I didn't realize he was that small.
Yeah, he's tiny. He can get deep though. When he played with Caleb, I mean, this year, it was weird. Weird how they use him this year. But Lincoln Riley, man, with Kim and Caleb, yeah, he can take the top off of defense for sure. He hit that 4.38, and they had a formal visit with him. So, I mean, that's somebody that looked at. Even Deshaun Reed of The Athletic even mentioned him in his article about the draft. So, like, you could tell that there's probably some kind of interest there with Marvin Mims.
Gotcha.
And him taking the top off the defense. So that's hopefully they go that route, like in the 5th round. Because I know he's gonna be there. He's not like the wide receiver class is kind of down too. So I see those 800 5th round picks they got. I think they can get Marvin Mims with one of them, right? Give him Marvin Mims, somebody that can take the top off the defense. Learn behind Dorsett. But I just didn't know Dorsett was still in the league. I
think I said this to you on our text, but I think playing for the Texans the last 2 years counts as not being in the league. Might as well be, but
it's all bad, man.
He can run, man. He can run. Like I mean, we'll get into it in a second here when we break down Jakobi Meyers. Mm-hmm. Myers loves the deep dig routes. That was McDaniels. You loved using him on back in 2021, and now you got Dorsett to run the runoff. So there you go. Dagger all day. Even more for you, Marcus. If you didn't like Dagger before, now you're gonna smoke a whole pack of Dagger.
It's interesting. Jakobi Meyers. We're gonna get into that a little bit, but I just have a feeling he's gonna be that guy in 21 personnel. He's gonna be the other wide receiver. So he's gonna. I think he's gonna play a little bit more outside here than we think because he can block so well, right? Because he blocks so damn well, right?
Mm-hmm. He wants it. He's physical when he blocks. He's not like, I think he tweeted this out, like he's not gonna kick your ass. Like he's only probably 185, 195. He's not a biggest dude, but he'll come up and he'll hit you. He'll let you know he's there, and that's half the battle as a wide receiver. That and just putting your butt in the right direction, and that's what he's good at. Is he wants it, and he knows how to position his body to like almost get in the way if you kind of will. So, but
yeah. So. All right, so what we're going to do, guys, we're getting some Jakobi Meyers, right? And then we're going to get into some Jimmy Garoppolo. This is basically kind of, be another review, but we're going to look at his best game, in my opinion, which is the Chargers, right? And then we're going to kind of look at him under pressure, which is both the Chargers and the Falcons. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get into it. All right, so we got Jakobi Meyers here in the slot. He's a really good slot receiver. Coverages, knows where to sit, all that good stuff. We're gonna watch him here running these the typical dig routes that we see in the McDaniels offense, Patriots offense, whatever you want to call it, Erhard Perkins. You see right there, just like the crisp routes, right? And they talked about changing Hunter Renfro's routes a little bit because Hunter Renfro is kind of a little, the shake and bake. You can't really tell Devontae Adams to change his routes. He'll just look at you like you're funny. So, but you see just how quick he is right there. It's a great route.
Yeah, he can snap it off at the top of the route. That's huge, especially for coming from the slot. And I think you can't quite tell it right here, but it looks like right about here, he uses his inside or his outside arm to like get the hand off of him. That's the other thing I noticed about him too, is he uses his hands really well in a route. He's a really savvy route runner too. Like he has a lot of nuanced things, a lot of things like just as simple as making his releases look the same, where like you can tell like he has like the mental part of the game down, where he can kind of play the game within the game.
Yeah, exactly. Here he is right here. And then they love to give him these little quick drag routes too. Special. I mean, his yak ability is not exceptional, but I don't think it's terrible.
He can find a lane and he's fast enough that he can eat up yards, but he's not making anybody miss or running anybody over. So that's for sure.
So this is why I think McDaniels is going to start using him. I like this one out of the backfield, right? And this was about him having some good routes as a slot receiver, right? Quick. Gets in the end zone.
Looked like he stole the shallow route there first initially, or goes to pretend to like chip the DN.
Yeah, see, watch. Yep, see. Yeah, I mean that's why they brought him in here, because he is Mr. He's textbook. He's gonna run everything like it should be run. Mr. Do your job. I mean that's kind of.
Do your job.
He's a do your job guy. Is really what it is. You see right here,
and do it exactly how I tell you. That was a nice route. Yeah.
Yeah, right. This is what's talking about him in the slot. Why he's really good here, right? Because basically what this route is, they call this Gotti. I'll go back. So on this one, basically you get a quick out, or he can stop based on the read, right? With the go route, you can see how quick he reads this. Right, he sees his zone coverage. It makes himself available. Right, he stops. Doesn't even try to run the out route. Makes himself available right away for Mac Jones.
And two, like the way he comes off the line, he does a good job of giving himself the read too, where he starts to eat into the leverage, and that tells him exactly what coverage it is, and so he knows he can just break it out.
Yeah, because I mean, he even shows it's going to be an out route, in my opinion. Like if you're 30, right, and you're playing this coverage that you're playing, which I think this is like kind of like a quarters coverage. Looks like you got too high, right? Yeah. He kind of sells it right enough where this guy's not coming with him, because he's expecting this guy to come out, take it outside. So it looks like probably cover 6, but this guy is coming outside.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's
a good route.
He's good in the slot, bro.
He's a good player. He really is.
Yeah, he is. He is a good player, man. He had 800 yards, and it's not something to sniff at in the NFL, in my opinion. I mean, especially with the offense that they were running.
Especially with Matt Patricia calling plays.
Yeah. 800 yards, Matt Patricia calling plays. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But stuff like this, too, here in the slot, that, then he comes outside. You can mix it up with him a lot, right? So you get him outside, and then he's going to sell the inside route, but come back out, wide open. Beautiful. Zappy gets it right to him.
Yeah, that's what I was saying is like he uses his releases. Like he understands how to use his release to get open. You know what I mean? Like that one, he's like stems it inside and cuts it back out at the same time, at the last minute.
And this one I'm talking about, him finding the zone coverage, right? So another option route, right? Bailey Zappi probably should have went here. I don't think anybody's here, but that's fine, Bailey. You're a rookie. All right.
He's a 4th round pick.
Yeah, you're right. But this is what I like about Jakobi, because he didn't stop moving on the route right here. So you'll see it on the back angle. Right, so he kind of stops right there, Kind of sees the linebacker move towards him, makes himself available to the quarterback. He's moving.
Boy, Rodrigo.
Yeah, good tape, man. And then of course we're talking about him being in there on 21 personnel, and him being the 20 personnel guy. Because boom, look at this block, like kind of setting it up, and kind of set that, seal him off. Look at the seal.
Man, I didn't really know we were going to get this deep into be watching a wide receivers run block. I didn't realize that, but
I mean,
it's a good block. It's a good block. Yeah, it's exact. This is what I'm talking about. If anyone on Twitter, we're like, yeah, he's not kicking this dude's ass. Might get away with a little bit of holding right here, but they're never going to call that. A little bit of a tug, but he just understands body positioning and where to put himself to just get in the way, which is what you have to do as a wide receiver, especially especially with how much McDaniels loves to run pin and pull. I mean, now that Mac Hollins is out in Atlanta, they need somebody like that because Devontae ain't doing it.
So,
and you're not asking Devontae to do that, but
so one thing I would talk about is him if he plays outside. I just think that if you don't get him in those condensed sets, I think you start to see his lack of speed and why he might have been undrafted, right? Because I mean, this one, Sauce Gardner, he's kind of running this post route. Sauce Gardner is not even worried about it. He's not even worried about him speed at all. This is a great concept with the sail right here.
Yeah, when I watched him, I saw him win deep once, and he won really impressively, but it was also against Kevin Bayard in the safety, so it was he's not beating anybody with speed, that's for damn sure. But
exactly. Right.
You can do it.
And then, because if you have him outside, so I got this one last play right here. So if you have him outside, right, and then this is a play that they run all the time. This is Goose, Utah. So you're gonna have two ends, but you have these two seams right here. So you have Hunter Henry on the seam, and you're gonna have him on the outside seam, right? And he gets press coverage outside. This is my only issue with him, right? I mean, he's just not beating anybody deep. I mean, that's a great route by Hunter Henry. But
that release was kind of, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That release was not is this supposed to be a foot fire release? That's not beating anybody.
It ain't beating anybody, bro.
Hunter Henry, just little boy, that guy.
Yeah, he did.
Is that Rodrigo again?
I don't know. That's
no,
the
it's
same
DB, okay.
DB, he tried to, he just did it.
Yeah, that's a little boy route. If you're in the NBA, you get that the too short thing.
Exactly. All right. Here we go. Now we're into
Handsome
Jimmy Garoppolo. All right. So Jimmy G is good in the middle of the field. He really is. He has good intermediate passes, right? Middle of the field. All those in breaking routes the Raiders love. We talked about dagger. Yeah, he can run the dagger. We're gonna see him do some of these in breaking routes here, but then we'll get into him under pressure later. And it's an experience. I just will let you guys know because it was fun for me to watch this. But we're gonna start off with the in breaking routes, which I like this play right here because I like how he starts to this left. There's nothing here, so you got two in breaking routes. You can maybe say he could throw this to Debo, but he's kind of covered right here. Or you could you can't really throw to Ayuk. He's covered right there pretty good, but he does a good job of coming to this third read right here underneath and getting the first down.
First. Yeah.
See, but go ahead, Matt.
I just said it looked like a nice tight window throw too. I was hoping we could have the end zone angle.
So you see right here. And what I like about it, I mean, he has good mechanics until he throws the ball. For some reason, he doesn't like to step into throws, which I don't understand. So I mean, you see, he's got the placement, he got the bent knees, he got the ball low, it looks great. Right. And then he just doesn't never steps into it. We'll watch. It's a theme. But, you see, it's a good tight window throw here. This is another in breaking route. This is a great anticipation throw. This is one of my favorite throws.
Oh, yeah. I remember watching this one.
All right. So, yeah, this is a choice route. This is choice dig Raiders used to run this all the time. You get a choice route from McCaffrey, and you got the dig on top of it from Ayuk here. This is good anticipation. You can see as soon as they're in this cover 3 look that they're in, you got this dig open, right? And he does a good job just throwing the football. You can tell that's what I'm talking about. He didn't step into it though. See?
Right. And I like to he releases that by the time he releases that ball, Ayuk's like at the top of his cut. You know what I mean? Like you're talking about with that anticipation. Like he's throwing right. Keep going a little bit more. Now, he's already halfway in his motion. You can see right here. And Ayuk's not even finished making the cut. And those are the things that are huge in the league.
Yeah, 100%. It's great timing, right?
Yeah.
So, and it took him a while on this offense to get timing like this. I remember I used to call him Jimmy Late all the time. So this is impressive to me. I'm like, you know what, Jimmy? This is good, man. I see you get anticipation here, man. I'm just scared he might come back here and be Jimmy Late again because he has to learn the offense. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Well, at least he's been in it before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he did put the eloquent quote of saying it's like going from Spanish to French, which, I mean, it'll be a little bit of a learning curve, but hopefully they can get that all ironed out in training camp.
All right, sorry. So this is my favorite one. So the Raiders run dig routes like this all the time. This is why you really see him, why they like him on tape. So play action, you're getting these 2 digs. You're getting a dig from Debo. You're getting a dig from Ayuk, right? And, this is a great pocket, right? This is the pocket you need for Jimmy G to be successful. See, this is right here. This is it. So I don't know. We'll talk about it in the back end. But see this pocket for him. He can more anticipation, right? He's not even out of the break yet. Nice throw right on the money. And then Ayuk fumbles, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Play. That's what I'm talking about. This is a great throw.
And 2, he reads the corner's hips open to the wrong direction too, which was how he knows where to go. Like watching Samuel, Samuel opens the wrong way, and then as soon as he sees that, he just starts to rip it. Like right now.
Exactly.
He's got him beat. Boom.
But he didn't step into it again. I just don't understand why he did not step into his throws.
And that's probably why it sailed on him a little bit. Like if you have the end zone angle, like I remember watching this play, Ayuk catches the ball like above his head a little bit and probably he's not finishing his throws. Which I mean, I guess he didn't get hurt quite at this point, but do you remember what foot he broke? Was it his left foot that he had surgery on?
Oh man, I don't remember. Yes, that's a high throw.
Yeah, which
that's a great catch though. Yeah. Great catch. Bad fumble, Ayuk. Great catch though. Yeah, these guys always made some great catches, man. The Debo Samuels one versus the Rams. Did you watch that one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that was a bad decision.
Where he took it like he broke like 3 tackles and took it like 50 yards to the house. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
I think I know the exact play you're talking about. Yeah, it was watching Jimmy Garoppolo film. The one thing I will say is it was great to watch Debo Samuel play.
Yeah, I know.
So
right?
That's the one blessing, man. Right?
He's a beast. All right, so this one, this is one of him going through his progressions. Now, I think this is his first read. He opens here, right? And we can debate whether McCaffrey's open here and whether Derwin James would get there. That's a debate. If he throws it with the anticipation he's been throwing earlier, maybe he gets that there if he's already throwing it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he gets that there. I think he could fit that in there.
Okay, but he decides to be safe and come down here to Ayuk and get some yardage. Yeah, because maybe it's Derwin James. That's sometimes when I see some of these things and guys like, oh, the guy's not open. Sometimes I look and it's like, oh, it's the best safety in the league. Yeah, maybe that's why he didn't do it. Like maybe if this is like some like random safety.
Yeah, very true. That's Nasir Adderley.
That's Nasir Adderley, exactly. He might throw that, but like, how fast does Derwin James close? Because he closes pretty quick. Like you can tell that he's going to close that. So it's like, ugh.
Yeah. But again, like we said, we've seen Jimmy throw with better anticipation where he can get that in there. But
yeah,
we'll take completions.
And does Christian McCaffrey might get popped there? I think he gets popped, probably. If he gets it in there, he might get popped. But I think you want that big play too. But it's both. Yeah. Man, he really had like 3 guys open. Debo's open too. There's like 4 guys open every play when I'm watching this Shanahan offense.
It's a play for the Niners, man.
Oh man, it's just it must be nice. Must be nice. All right, here we go.
Oh,
Here's him coming backside here. It's another one him going through his reads. Yeah, it comes back, finds Kittle. This is another one. We talk about him outside the numbers. I mean, if he anticipated Ayuk, he probably could have got there. But I think that guy's closing. But if that's where he wanted to go, anticipation. But it's a good job coming back to Kittle. So I think there's more space here, right? I'm not going to be mad at him about that.
And it's one of those things too. Like, okay, you have you have Ayuk, who's a good receiver with the safety bearing down on him, or one of the best tight ends in the game one-on-one.
Yeah. I still think this could.
I don't hate that decision. What's up?
This could have been a better throw though. We'll see it on the backside, because I think Michael Davis actually, if he played the ball, could have picked this off. So we'll see him come back side, and I think, and what I want to point out is that Jimmy's feet are not pointing towards where he should be throwing it here, but his feet are pointing this way, and then you see the ball kind of get behind Kittle a little bit. Mm-hmm. And if Michael Davis is really trying to, I think he might have got a chance, but I think he was just so freaked out that Kittle beat him. He's like, oh, no, because if he throws a great ball here, Kittle's running for a little bit.
Yeah. Instead of behind him. Yeah, look at those hips.
Yeah.
He's throwing that with his stomach instead of his shoulder.
Yeah.
Almost said something else, but I'll keep it PG here.
All right, this is one of my favorite throws from him on tape right here. Well, you kind of see it, but you kind of see he still doesn't. He doesn't step into it, but it's a great throw. So let me go back. So just a little bit, but I guess it's important.
And two, that makes me. I was just saying that makes me wonder if he'd be better on his deep balls if he starts figuring out how to step into his throw. You know what I mean? And shifting his weight.
Yeah, like I don't know like what that is. I mean, you. That's what I'm saying. Are they be able to fix that?
It's one of those things at this point, like if he's not doing it.
Yeah, it's year 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like everything's perfect. Like you talk about, I just got this quarterback book, and like he's a bent knees, ball's low. The ball's not too high. Like everything's perfect. His feet don't touch, but they just doesn't step into it. Like if he stepped into it, man. All right, so now here's another one right here. It's him throwing outside the numbers. This is what I'm talking about, him throwing outside the numbers and why it doesn't work as much. Becomes some of these mechanic issues. He doesn't step into this one either.
Yep.
And he misses a wide open Deebo Samuel.
See the end zone too. I think his feet were off too. Just from the.
All right.
Good so far.
Yeah, good so far.
No, his feet are fine there.
Yeah. It's like it's just not pointing towards his target like you want it to be,
Yeah.
All right, so now we're in the Jimmy G pressure experience. Okay. Because there's some good things there that we saw, but this is when it gets weird. It's about to get weird, guys. All right, so this one is interesting because there's really no pressure. He has like a 4-man rush, okay, and he's kind of just staring at this side. And I hate doing the open thing, I really do. But this guy is just streaking down the field. If he just didn't kind of stick on this route with Kittle, maybe I think he wants the route with Kittle. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
he's sticking with it. And he has room to step up through the pocket, but it just keeps fading, and then he throws off his back foot to nobody. I just didn't understand this one.
Yeah. He bailed as soon as who was this on the edge started losing, or who started winning, I should say, from the Chargers.
I don't know who that is on the edge.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he starts bailing. I don't even know who that is. No, it's glitchy, but
yeah, but look at all this room. Yeah. Like if he just stepped up, I mean, he had a touchdown.
Yeah.
But he wanted to throw to Kittle, so obviously he was going to stick with that. It didn't work out. Maybe he wants to throw to McCaffrey here. I'm guessing maybe on the choice route, maybe. And then McCaffrey didn't keep running outside. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one. Here we get to watch former Raider Khalil Mack try to attempt a hump move on Mike McGlinchey. I was proud of Mike McGlinchey on this one because, man, I was like, how did you not get flipped over? Let's watch this. He tries it. He tried to flip him over. He's got him.
Look at that. Like, that's a terrible base from McGlinchey, too. I'm trying to, like, when you were playing the whole thing, I'm like, how is he going to recover from this?
He does a good job. He didn't get flipped over.
Oh, you know how? Because he bear hugged him.
Yeah, he's holding him. but Jimmy G, he really doesn't handle it well. I think he could have moved a little bit, right? Step up. There's some room up here. He's got a lot of room to move, but he kind of just like lets the guy run into him, and then he steps back, and then you kind of see, maybe he would have had Kittle running this way, maybe, probably not. But then he just like before this guy can get to him, who's coming around the corner. Let me go back a little bit. So this guy is coming around the corner, Morgan Fox. He kind of just throws it into the ground. I don't.
What was down distance?
I don't remember. I wish.
Because he could also just take off. Like right now, he's got a wide open lane between the left guard. Like take off. Obviously, I don't think he's gonna make Derwin James miss. But if it's not 3rd and long, like you just hit the slide and at least play for 3rd and short. And that's what I was asking. Like maybe it's 3rd and long, but it's not like this pass is gonna do much better than.
I don't know what he like
a 4-yard run.
I don't know where he's throwing that ball. All right. Here we go. Jimmy G again. Now this one is weird because I think, Kittle's just destroying this guy. Right. And I think he wants to go to Kittle, but I just don't know why he doesn't throw it to Kittle. Like even he kind of like pump fakes towards it. He doesn't throw it. I don't know what was happening there.
Yeah, that's his guy, and he's good at throwing with anticipation. So I guess this is the frustration of watching Jimmy G.
And then he just kind of just throws into the traffic.
He just sails it in the middle of the field. That's going to be a pick the next time he does that.
And this is a 3-man rush. That's the kind of bothers me about this one. This is a 3-man rush, I believe. And this is the game he didn't have. McGlinchey's in there for a little bit. He wasn't in there later. I'll just say that. And it gets weirder. But he got beat right there.
And another like rewind that a little bit. He drifts again. Like he has so much room to step up, but he drifts and drifts and drifts. Just step up. Yeah, especially against a 3-man rush when you have you have an instant double team on the nose, maybe a triple team. Like just step up. Like
yeah, and then he throws a bad sidearm pass. Yeah. All right, here we go. Next one. Drift, and then just throw it to a lineman. Now this one, I think he could have threw to Debo right here, but I think, like I said, but I think Trent Williams isn't here, right? So I think he doesn't trust this guy, but because the guy is getting his butt kicked, I feel you, Jimmy. He's about to get his butt kicked, but you drifted to it. I still think you could have threw it to Debo. Debo makes catches in traffic.
And on that note, if you don't trust that guy, why are you drifting into pressure? And why not get the ball out faster?
See, because that's why I like watching this game, because when he doesn't have Trent Williams, and the McGlinchey's in here earlier, but I swear somebody else is in this game from McGlinchey, but he doesn't have Trent Williams. This is kind of like, this is like one of the worst games they have from the offensive line. Like they got their butts kicked, and you see how Jimmy struggled a lot. And a lot of people say the Raiders' offensive line was good. I disagree. Because if the Raiders are down, they're gonna start running stunts, and I think you just need to protect Jimmy better, and we're not set up for success there. But
yeah,
you know what I mean.
Miller, the good news is Colton Miller is a good in pass protection and is super durable.
Yes,
we know that. But
yes,
obviously, when Jesus, Mike McGlinchey. That can't be him, right?
No, yes. This is when he gets replaced.
Okay, this is the other guy. Okay, thank God. I'm like,
See, this is when he gets replaced. Now, and you know, if they throw Brett
Go
Parker
to
out
the
there.
pre-snap again.
Okay, all right, let me go back a
Hold
little
on,
bit.
back it up a little bit.
Pre-snap. So
That
yeah, I mean,
should
you kind of see
be so. If it's slide pro left, that should be Jimmy G's guy in the protection, right? Because you got
it.
three on the top and then 2 for your interior guys. So if he slides left, like he's got to throw hot off that guy,
Yeah, which he has,
which should be
right there.
McCaffrey right now. Oh, he does get it off to McCaffrey. Okay,
But
more credit. My bad.
but instead of like what the rumor is for him, which people for some reason people think he stands in the pocket and takes hits, which he should have on this one. You got to take a hit here.
Yeah.
And throw this ball to 22. You got to take a hit. Take a hit. Throws to 22.
Drifts.
Right. He drifts and he fades and he avoids the hit, and he misses the throw.
Yeah.
And I think that's third down, bro. That was a third down one. See,
and
you know,
2,
20 teams going on.
And 2, with the way the rules of the game are, like you take the hit, there's a decent chance you get roughing the passer. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like this sucks. It hurts. It's easy for me to say, hey, I take this hit from this dude that's 215 pounds running full speed that runs a 4.4. But hey, this is life as an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, and that's it's what they didn't like from Carr. You know, they want, you know,
yeah,
because sometimes Carr would do stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
To me, it might be more accurate pass, but yeah, he used to do stuff like this. He wouldn't step in there and take a hit, right? But you know, if that's you're replacing him with, you know, this guy's doing the same thing. And then we'll finish. This is a great play by the corner. So we'll finish off the experience with this one. All right, so you know he's getting this late blitz. He's got a cover 3. They're running Yankee, right? They got play action Yankee. He thinks he's getting this crosser from Debo, right? But you see these guys are communicating, right? So once this corner route happens, they've already switched. He sees this drag, right? Or not the the over route or dig, whatever you want to call it. And he stops. But Jimmy is just already throwing this ball, and mostly because this guy's coming to hit him. That's why he's throwing the football. He's not trying to see. He's just trying to get rid of the ball before he gets hit. And it gets intercepted. And you know, I shout out to Debo Samuel on this one, okay? Because I want you guys to watch him. Watch Debo. Watch where he is right here, right? Debo comes back so much to this ball. That's why I was talking about how much help he got. Because he actually stopped this from being picked, in my opinion. I think if he just runs his route, 34 cuts it off, right? But he cuts off 34 to the ball.
Yeah. That's nice.
That's so incredible. It almost gets a catch for Jimmy G. And they get an interception off the deflection. Him almost trying to come back and make that catch. I don't know. He's super underrated to me. To watch him, I feel like, man, is he underrated.
Debo?
Yeah, Debo is underrated as hell. Just a play like that, just because that's not a good throw, right? It's a throw in traffic, but I'm going to make my quarterback look good. And I'm going to come back. I'm going to cut my route off. His route's supposed to go up here. He's coming back to the football. He tries to make a play on it. That's a great play by 34, though, too, to break it up before he makes that catch.
Yeah.
But
you can't really throw your 6 foot. You don't want to throw your 6 foot receiver high.
Yeah. And the reason why he did it is because of this pressure. So we'll watch it. Play action, right? Typical. This is West Coast offense. Play action. We hit that dig, right? And here comes the pressure. And instead of stepping into this throw and taking a hit, like for some reason everybody thinks he does, and that's the word on the street, he avoids the hit and throws a high pass that gets intercepted.
Didn't finish it. He throws it with his, watch his hips. Go back a little bit.
Oh, my bad.
I was just going to say, if you watch that play, his hips, he rears back with his hips, right, to miss the contact on his follow through, and that's what causes the ball to get up and sail, because you're not finishing it, so the ball goes on the upward trajectory.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So there's a way to win with Jimmy G. That's the thing. There is a way to win, right? There is.
Yeah,
you can win
for
with
sure.
him. But go ahead. Go ahead, Matt.
He's an easy target because obviously the Niners tried to get rid of him for the last, I guess, 2 years, year and a half, or whatever it's been, and He's obviously always injured, which at the end of the day, like that is like your best ability as a quarterback is to be available. But he is a good player. Like we were talking about, he does throw with anticipation well when he's not facing pressure. He does have like good velocity on his ball to zip it past the guy's ear, and he can throw accurately. But again, it's like when the pocket starts collapsing, when the picture starts changing a little bit on him, like that's when he starts to like, get a little bit panicky. And two, like at the end of the day, like you have to have a good backup. Like you have to basically plan like you're going to have probably 2 to 3 games without Jimmy G, which is tough to sit there and say for your guy that you're, I guess he's not the franchise quarterback, but like the guy that you're turning over the reins to as a starter. Like you'd rather not be like, yeah, I really got to plan for what happens when this guy get hurt, because I know at some point he's going to get hurt. There's literally been one time when he was a starter that he hasn't gotten hurt. Even going back to his days when he was filling in for Brady during the Deflategate, he got hurt and had to miss 2 starts. Like that's the problem. And that's the biggest thing. It's like, that's the one thing that you can't defend if you're supporting Jimmy G, is like, he's just banged up all the time, and it's something else every time.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying with his offensive line too, man. They're not fixing the holes. Maybe these guys play better. Maybe they get the protections down. Maybe that's why they're not bringing in new guys, because the protections are so complex. They don't want to bring in new guys to kind of teach them the protections again. I don't know what the plan is there, but I think a big deal is that he has to come back and relearn the protections. Which, how long is that going to take him to get down where he's pointing things out and he knows the protections to slide and things like that? Because it's different than San Francisco. It's going to be. So that's going to be interesting with me, because pressure is the game with Jimmy G. Like Derek Carr was inconsistent with pressure. Some games he would be good under pressure. Some games he'd be terrible. Like Jimmy G's consistently terrible. That's the problem. He's consistently terrible under pressure. So you have to protect him. It's like the main thing, because he's not going to play well if he's under pressure a lot. The Falcons game is basically him. 2020, he didn't have Trent Williams. He didn't play well at all that year. I forgot about that. He didn't have Trent Williams for most of that year in 2020, I believe. And he didn't play well at all. So, Colton Miller is a really good tackle. I think he's reached that tier 2 of left tackles. He's not really a tier 1 left tackle. I think he's a high tier 2 left tackle, but high tier 2, he could still get beat. Right. So I think that's kind of, Jimmy G's not going to have that guy that gets beat like once a year. So,
well, here's what I'll say. We just watched Jimmy G like bail out of pockets that he should be stepping into. Like we talked about, Miller's a good pass blocking left tackle. Eluemunor ended up being a good pass blocking tackle. So if the pressure's coming from the middle, you're supposed to drift on that anyway. So I don't know. Maybe that's what they're thinking, is like, our tackles are at least decent, so it'll play into Jimmy G's his pocket maneuvering. So
maybe
I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know, the way they're selling it though. They're selling it that he's going to step up and take that hit, and we all know. You guys could tell me on the film if he's going to step up.
I'm curious when you say like. When you're saying they're selling it, who are we talking? We talking about just like fans in general, or are we talking about?
I've seen articles, man. I've seen like a bunch of articles that say that he's going to stand in there and take a hit. I think even Michael Lombardi said that he's willing to stand in there and take
Lombardi,
a hit.
the most reliable source when it comes to the Raiders, for sure.
I know, it's just funny. He said he's going to stand in there and take a hit. So I mean, I haven't seen it on film, But
he'll have one play that I do like that sticks out in my mind, and it came from the Chargers game. You probably saw this too, where like he did roll out and like made a nice play on the move. Like I'd almost rather see him do that than do what he does where he keeps drifting. I'm like, at least like if you bail out of the pocket early, like at least you can buy some time, and maybe someone gets broke loose on a scramble drill. But when you like do like the little shift incremental movements like throughout the pocket, you like end up just making yourself a sitting duck, especially when you don't want to take the hit already. But like he does have like good plays where like he'll again bail out of the pocket going deep, like not stepping into it, but bail out of it and roll out. And he actually can throw on the run a little bit, which so I don't know, maybe they ingrain that in him and work with him on that part.
Maybe, man. Maybe they're just, I don't know. Maybe Josh is like, this is my guy. Kyle did terrible with him. Actually, he's not. I'm going to do even better. Kyle sucks. I'm Josh McDaniels. I'm gonna. Maybe
that's a terrible argument, but you know what? I can 1,000% see Let's see, Josh McDaniels saying that. The same guy that once said he could make a high school quarterback look like an all-pro. So,
yeah, Kyle Shanahan's not me, man. Come on, Jimmy. We're gonna do two slots.
You're right.
We're gonna go 4 wide.
You're right. Kyle Shanahan's not you. He's been to 3 NFC championships and 1 Super Bowl in the last, as a head coach, I should say, in the last 5 years or 6 years.
Yeah.
But
all right, and Jakobi Meyers. Before we get out of here, let's talk about Jakobi Meyers. Jakobi Meyers. It's gonna be interesting to see where they. I think they're gonna probably play more condensed on first and second down and 21 personnel, just so they can get him in there, just so he can run some slot routes and play more inside. But it'll be interesting to see how they use him, because I just don't believe they're going to the 2 slot thing. I don't believe that. There's no way they're going to line up and go spread the field out, shotgun with Jimmy Garoppolo. Don't believe it.
They might have to with no tight ends.
I just don't believe it. Like I just feel like we're still going to do the 21 personnel thing, hand the ball off, Josh Jacobs. Maybe we actually might see. Maybe they do running back by committee a little bit more this year. I don't know what their plan is. I just don't see that. So that's why I see Jakobi Meyers in that 21 personnel playing inside a little bit, condensed, so he can block. And they got him and Adams out there, and maybe they can do some tight end stuff and work it out with, Jacob Johnson lines up a tight end sometimes. So, I don't know. It's interesting. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I like the Jakobi Meyers signing. I like him as a player. It was just one of those things where I'm like you didn't really need this. I would have rather seen you spend $11 million on the offensive line. But that being said, again, he's a good player. I'm happy that they have him. It'll make the receiving core better. And I think I pointed this out, Jakobi Meyers, as we just saw, was really good on the intermediate routes, and that's where Jimmy G's strengths align. So maybe they end up being a nice pairing. But yeah, it's like we were talking about earlier. It's frustrating that they haven't addressed their needs in free agency like you're kind of supposed to. But they're gonna do them, man. They're gonna bring in their guys all the way down to the long snapper.
Yeah, what was that? How do you cut Trent Sieg? He got a lot of penalties. I'm
did he?
I said he got 4. He was high in the league in penalties. I mean that's what I see fans who carry McDaniel's water. They're saying that they said that.
Gotcha.
Trent Sieg sucks now. I get it. He's terrible. He was great when he was there a second ago, but now that we cut him, look at the penalties he got. That's why. Whatever. It's the thing. He did this in Denver, I guess. He came into Denver and he cut the long snapper that was there and brought in his own long snapper. What is
you got to send him? You got to send a message one long snapper at a time.
What is this dude's problem sometimes, man?
I don't know. I mean, that was the wildest thing. I'm of all, I don't mean to be that guy on Twitter of what are they doing? Obviously a long snapper is important, but when you don't do anything, but you sign a long snapper that you didn't need because Trent Sieg was still under contract. He's on the last year of his deal, but worst case, you just worry about that next year.
He's like, I want a long snapper. I want my own long snapper. He doesn't snap. He uses a 2-hand snap instead of what is the complaint here? I don't know. I guess it's the penalties, right? The penalties.
I guess, yeah, penalties. It's true. You can't have your long snap. I have no idea how many penalties Trent Sieg. I don't really particularly remember him drawing a lot of penalties, but yeah, I guess you can't have a long snapper getting penalties. But also, it is kind of nice when you have a Pro Bowl punter and a Pro Bowl kicker, and they both like the guy. That to me outweighs the penalties, but
yes,
again, we've talked too much about long snappers already.
I know, yeah, a minute's enough. All right, Matt, we're out of here. Appreciate you guys listening. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Like I said, we'll get into the defensive review. Maybe they'll give us some more defensive players to talk about because I know we're all expecting defensive free agency, and we got more offense, in my opinion. I feel like the biggest guys are Jakobi Meyers is the biggest one, Jimmy Garoppolo. So, so we'll get into that defensive review. Hopefully, BD will be back for that. He had some computer issues, but hopefully we'll get that going. But we'll do that. Couple Marcus Epps, Robert Spillane, all those guys. We'll get that going for you guys. But we're out of here. Peace.
See ya.